Today I'm going to remind you of a question for a free tea, ask and answer a question, reveal the books I bought this week, and somewhere on this episode is a mystery pop-up segment. Where will it be? It's a mystery. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro!
One, two, three, four.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. This is the third and final Mardi Gras episode, and on this episode, it's all about the color purple. Now, I'm going to touch base on that later on, but for right now, I'm going to remind y'all of a question for a free tea. This is a short week. I'm not going to give away a free t-shirt. I wanted to do this episode as you're watching it because Tuesday is the last day of the Mardi Gras season. And it wouldn't be right for me to do an episode in about a week. So anyway, here's the question. It's a Black History question, and it's also a DC question. Who was the first African female superhero to headline her own series in DC Comics? Was it A, Bumblebee, B, Vixen, or C, Naomi? Alright, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this character made her first appearance in Action Comics number 521 in 1981 and was created by Jerry Conway and Bob Oxner. The second hint, this character's powers are derived from a magical totem inherited from her family called the Tantu Totem, allowing her to mimic abilities like the flight of a hawk, the constriction of an anaconda, or the electrical touch of an eel. And then the third and final hint, this character's codename is also a noun meaning a female fox or a spirited or fierce woman. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. So, I gotta ask. Any questions?
Questions I walk around in, questions I didn't thrive in, questions I will survive in, questions.
Hey everyone, now this month is also Turner Syndrome Awareness Month. Now Turner Syndrome, a condition that affects only females, results when one of the X chromosomes or the sex chromosomes is missing or partially missing. Turner Syndrome can cause a variety of medical and developmental problems, including short height, failure of the ovaries to develop, and heart defects. Turner Syndrome may be diagnosed before birth or prenatally, during infancy, or in early childhood. Occasionally, in females with mild signs of symptoms of Turner Syndrome, the diagnosis is delayed until the teen or young adult years. Turner Syndrome may be suspected prenatally based on prenatal cell-free DNA screening, which is a method to screen for certain chromosomal abnormalities in a developing baby using a blood sample from the mother, or prenatal ultrasound. Prenatal ultrasound of a baby with Turner Syndrome may show large fluid collection on the back of the neck or other abnormal fluid collections, which is also known as edema, heart abnormalities, and abnormal kidneys. Now, signs of Turner Syndrome at birth or during infancy may include wide or web-like neck, low-set ears, broad chest with widely spaced nipples, high, narrow roof of the mouth or the palate, arms that turn outward at the elbows, fingernails and toenails that are narrow and turn upwards, and swelling of the hands and feet, especially at birth. And there's also slightly smaller than average height at birth, slow growth, cardiac defects, low hairline at the back of the neck, receding or small lower jaw, and short fingers and toes. The most common signs in almost all girls, teenagers, and young women with Turner Syndrome are short stature and ovarian insufficiency due to ovarian failure. Failure of the ovaries to develop may occur at birth or gradually during childhood, the teen years, or young adulthood. Signs and symptoms of these include slow growth, no growth spurts at expected times in childhood, adult height significantly less than might be expected for a female member of the family. Failure to begin sexual changes expected during puberty. Sexual development that stalls during teenage years. Early into menstrual cycles not due to pregnancy. And for most females with Turner syndrome, the inability to conceive a child without fertility treatment. Now, Turner syndrome affects 1 in 2,500 female childbirths. And I personally know someone who has Turner syndrome, and I'm quite sure they're watching this. And if you're a woman and you're watching this and you're living with Turner syndrome, or you know someone who's living with Turner syndrome, I love y'all, and this mystery pop-up segment is for y'all. All right, this is a Turner Syndrome Awareness Comic Hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $17, and I will donate half of each purchase to the Turner Syndrome Society of the United States. All right, this past weekend, I went to El Dorado, Arkansas to Gabe's Cave Comics and Collectibles, and I was looking to fill a hole, and I found that hole, and I'm going to reveal what that book is. And that book happens to be The Infernal Hulk, #2. All right, with that book, that brings my total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 14,369. This question comes from Mandy Hooter from Bossier City, Louisiana. She asked, who in your opinion is the most dangerous of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Well, Mandy, a lot of folks aren't going to agree with me when I say this, but I'd have to say Michelangelo. Now, before I get to why I say Michelangelo, it's because I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the other three. Now, a lot of folks may think it's Raphael because he's the toughest, but everyone knows that he has a very bad anger problem. And when the chips are down, or you know what hits the fan, he's the one that gives up before anyone, and he gets angry and he goes off. He runs away. He tries to figure things out on his own, and as a result, he becomes careless and he gets his butt handed to him. And some people may think it's Leonardo. Look, Leonardo is the leader, okay? But sometimes being a leader means that you have control of certain situations. Sometimes he wants so much control to the point where he just wants to. I mean, that what anyone else says doesn't matter, and he thinks that just because he's the leader, he's the only voice. And he ends up with becoming big-headed, and that never works in just about anyone's favor. Now, it's not Donatello. Now, Donatello is the brains of the four. He's the most meticulous. He's very methodical. He's very scientific. I mean, very intelligent. But he overthinks a lot, and that gets him in trouble too. But here's the one thing. Now, here's why I say Michelangelo is the most dangerous out of all of them. No, yeah, he's a fun-loving guy. He likes to play all day, but he only does that. But that's only his personality. Personality and work ethic are two completely different things. But one thing I've learned about him in just about every form of media, he's also the most relaxed. He's also the most laid back, and with doing this, he's able to learn a lot more than the rest of them. He becomes a lot. He becomes so laid back that he's the most disciplined out of all of them. And anything that Splinter teaches him goes through one ear and stays in his head. It does not go out the other. And when the time comes, he's the most battle ready. And it also helps him be creative as a result. So I definitely have to say Michelangelo. All right, I hope y'all. I really enjoyed that question. I really enjoyed asking and answering it. Now, if y'all have any questions y'all want to submit for future episodes, go ahead and do so. But remember, they have to have something to do with comics or anything within the realm. or they could have something to do with me in terms of the show or the hobby, but please, no personal or tasteless questions. I will neither ask nor answer. All right, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. All right, here we go. First up is Absolute Wonder Woman 2026 Annual. Action Comics number 1095. Adventures of Superman Book of L number 6. Aquaman number 14. Batman and Robin number 30. Cyclops number 1. DCKO number 4. Oh, check it out. Green Lantern Corps number 13. Planet She-Hulk number 4. Space Ghost number 8. Supergirl number 10. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 15. Ultimate X-Men number 24. Venom number 254. And finally, and I am so excited about this, Wade Wilson Deadpool number 1. Alright, that's 15, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 14,384. Alright, well, I hope you all enjoyed this week's episode, and here's a question again for a free tee for the next episode of the show. Who's the first African female superhero to headline her own series in DC Comics? Was it A, Bumblebee, B, Vixen, or C, Naomi? Alright, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this character made her first appearance in Action Comics number 521 in 1981 and was created by Jerry Conway and Bob Oxner. The second hint, this character's powers are derived from a magical totem inherited from her family called the Tantu Totem, allowing her to mimic abilities like the flight of a hawk, the constriction of an anaconda, or the electric touch of an eel. And then the third and final hint, this character's codename is also a noun meaning a female fox or a spirited or fierce woman. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on episode 554. Now, the Mardi Gras season is coming to a close, and the third color of the Mardi Gras season is purple, and purple represents justice. Now, the true meaning of justice is a complex concept centered on fairness, impartiality, and giving each person what they are due, involving moral rightness, accountability, and the impartial application of law to balance rights and responsibilities, ensuring deserved rewards or punishment, and promoting the flourishing of all, not just some, but all people within a society. It means treating like cases alike, upholding moral standards, balancing competing claims, and ensuring the law serves peace by resolving conflicts without prejudice. Honestly, I don't really need to say anything else beyond that. But I will say this. You know, a lot of times when we're on the receiving end of bad breaks, wrongdoing, or any other level of adversity, we want justice. And there's nothing wrong with standing up for what you believe in. So don't let anyone tell you different. Alright, this is a purple Mardi Gras comic hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $25. Alright, before I go on with the road ahead to the show, a lot of times during Mardi Gras season, you go to parades, and one of the things that you find at parades are Mardi Gras beads. You have all these folks that are in these floats, and a lot of times they'll throw some beads, or they'll even throw some coins, and they'll throw cups and candy and, well, other things. Trust me, I've been to enough Mardi Gras parades to know that they throw more than just cups, beads, candy, and coins. Sometimes they throw other tasteless objects. But my advice to y'all, if the objects are tasteless or anything outside of coins, cups, beads, or candy, I wouldn't touch it. Just saying. But there was a Crew of Gemini parade earlier today off in the Port City, and wasn't able to go because of work. And there's going to be, and I think the Cruella Highland parade in Shreveport is tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be in church during that, so won't be able to go to that one either. But if y'all are going to a Mardi Gras parade, near or far, be careful. And if you need somebody to drive you home, get somebody to drive you home. Please, sir, please, ma'am. I don't want to hear anything about any wrecks that have happened with folks leaving Mardi Gras parades, or just about any destination. Alright, here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode, I'm celebrating Black History Month. And on episode 555, I'm celebrating Healthy Heart Month. And on episode 556, to kick off the month of March, I'm raising awareness of colorectal cancer. Alright, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. If you're watching this on a Comic Book Lovers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Louisiana Delta Content Creators Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. Alright, I'm Victor Nolly on a Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 554. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and laissez le bon temps rouler.